I'm live. Well, hello, Crime Stoppers. Welcome back. Oh dear. Get some of this out of the frame. Wow, it's like it's wide. All right. So, well, one lone. There you go. Okay, look, tabla rasa. I may actually use it. That's why. Holy cow! Do we have a few? And look, I can go live again. I couldn't go live for the longest time, and and I can subscribe now, but I don't think I can hit the notification bell. I mean, they did a weird thing. I crossed the line, and they shut me the fuck up for a little bit there. But now I accidentally figured out that I could upload video on this channel. Go over to my BitChute channel. That's like I haven't really done much over on BitChute, but at least they can't pull it down. This should be the place you go for music vids and stuff like that. But if you want to do actual research, I mean, they're fucking pulling all the research down. Like, there's a ton of videos that I would in the last, I'd say, 7 days that I have tried to go find because I have the link saved or I have it in a document or something like that for future reference. And it ain't there anymore, right? Masonic symbols. One was just Masonic symbols, right? It was just, and all it was because there was this one picture that I wanted that was in that video. I knew it was in that video, and I was going to screenshot it. The video is gone, and it wasn't even like conspiracy theory. And it was just here's like pictures of Masonic symbols, like they're memes basically, and here's what the elements in the picture mean. That's it. The guy was just explaining it. I believe it was crap. I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway. But the idea was that all he was doing was going over, gone. That thing's gone. Videos about vitamin D, gone. Videos, what? They're taking videos down about vitamins. Are you kidding me? I mean, on and on. They're taking down videos of all manner. And of course, political videos. And of course, you mentioned the Rona apparently, and you get in trouble. I mean, and certainly if you talk about emancipation and figuring out how to, become, and I'll be quick with this, yeah, there you go. Truth is treason in the empire of lies. It's as simple as that. But the idea is that, all right, where do I want to start with that? We'll be quick on that one. Is that you got to make up your own forms, and there's a manual. I'll try to find the links and put them down here. But there's a manual that shows you how to make substitute forms. And so what you have to do is you have to make up your own forms that do what their official forms or what their, once again, and I use that word correctly, official, the public, well, actually, it's a private company masquerading as public companies and as what is it, tax exempt government organizations. Find out about this form, and that's clue right there. The 18, which is 9. There's your 9s. Anyway, you start, like, I've been studying gematria, and people are nuts. I mean, seriously. Okay, understand that we peasants, and that's all we are to them, is just the low-life serfs that run the whole freaking system that allows them to be on their yachts and allows them to be on literally in their castles and big houses and so forth. It runs off of us, right? The pyramid, as you well know, it's all of this, and there's that, and we are these guys. And we are the peasants. We are definitely ignorant slave peasants. Don't know where we are. Don't know our fucking names. It's fucking crazy when you find out. And the guys up here, they're fanatics. They're religious fanatics, first off. Whether they're quote unquote good religious fanatics or bad religious fanatics, they're still religious fanatics. Oh crap, I took all the books away. But that Bible, yeah. Again, it's in every courthouse in all Western civilization. If there's a courthouse there's a Bible in it. You should know what it says. All of our law comes down from that Bible, right? It's Christian law. It's not Judeo-Christian law. It's not Sharia. It's not Islamic. It is Christian law in this nation, based on what's in there. You want to know about, like I just found out, for example, bankruptcy. You want to know about bankruptcy? Well, I believe that's Deuteronomy. I'll have to look at my notes. I have pages now and pages and pages of notes going over various videos on what forms to file and who to send them to. Inspector generals are your friends. Find out about inspector, like there's something like turns out that there was no inspector general when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. There was nobody to. There was no check or balance there. Trump had to go appoint an inspector general. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm looking at. I wrote them down. It's like the department. Okay, and here's the thing: Department of. They have departed from the de jure government. It's the State Department. It's the Treasury Department, not the Department of the Treasury Department, not the Department of State, the State Department. Same thing. When you hear that of state, right? Hawaii State. Ooh, I'm looking at the Hawaii State Constitution, not the State of Hawaii Constitution. Oh, it's just like it starts to see because I believe it was Rod Sterling and there's a couple other people where they made TV shows or episodes where everybody else thought that it meant one thing. I got this from Amazing Polly, and then I looked at a couple other things, and yeah, because it's come up a couple of times now, where everybody thought that the aliens or the others were saying one thing when actually they meant one thing. And see, this is the same thing in text, when you text your girlfriend or your boyfriend and you guys get in a fight over it because you thought that word meant one thing and she thought it meant another, and now you're okay. We've got this whole thing going on the same way with the deep state, as it were, or with the laws and statutes and so forth. You think the words mean one thing, and actually they mean another thing. So you got to know what the words mean. I can't stress enough how important it is to know what the words mean. And then once you figure out what the words mean, then you can start writing documents, and then you can start trying to set yourself free. I should have put this in order. But anyway, if you're reading your Bible, it's either Deuteronomy or Leviticus, one of the two. What chapter? Chapter 7, 11, and 13. That tells you about bankruptcy in the form of parable. Really, I know I wrote this down. Because I wrote that down because I was like, you're kidding me. And then you go look and pick up your Bible, and I'll tell you another story that's fun. This whole Mandela effect that they're talking about? Absolutely. I used to go to church camp, guys. Right? I was forced to go to church camp. I had no option. And I learned about the lion laying down with the lamb and so forth. And now my Bible, which I've had, and is signed by my mother. I've had that Bible since I was a little child. And it used to say lion and the lamb. Damn it. It now says wolf. The wolf and the lamb? That doesn't even sound right to me. And any one of you that are Christians that are more than 50 years old, that should be like, what happened? Something happened, right? I don't know what happened. I don't even have a theory to give you. I mean, seriously, this is like something, their time and timelines are perhaps not as set in stone as we'd like to believe. That's all I can say. I don't even know what to say about that. But the point being, and I'm looking through these to try to, because I took a whole bunch of notes because, like I said, the one, and as soon as I put them down, you think the words mean one thing, they actually mean another. You think those stories are literal, and they can be taken literally. They absolutely can be taken literally. But for the most part, those stories, okay, I can't find it, were meant to explain to you law. Cain killing Abel. Abel was the fiction. Cain was the real man. So Cain was killing the fiction. You got to kill your fiction. Bankruptcy, marriage, all manner of, everything that in our culture, our Western civilization and our laws, they're all based on that book. All of it turns out. So you got to know what the words mean. And then you got to be able to use the words in your documents, right? And then you have to realize that, like, for example, you need to send, see, I'm going to get in trouble again, but we'll see how far I can get away with it. And if not, I'll move it over to BitChute. But you got to let people know you're not dead. That's not a joke. You need to write a letter to various entities like the IRS, the Department of the Treasury IRS, and also the de jure. Let them know. Hi, I'm non-decedent. You need to change my status from decedent to non-decedent because sure as fuck, they have your status as decedent, which means you're dead. Okay, so right there. I already showed you the thing about the 3-cent stamps. They have split the world in two. Okay, those that are on that one side that are not the peasant slaves, the ones that are up here, they are not worried about any of this Rona shit at all, not even slightly. But they are using it to absolutely control the masses. They know how to control us. They absolutely know how to control us. And here in the state that I'm in, it's very, very complicated. But to make a long story really short, they wiped out the natives here using virus. All right, they've done this numerous times, and they always pretend like we didn't know. We didn't. Right? And they'll tell you in textbooks we didn't. They didn't have any idea about how. Even though they gave blankets to the Indians in North America, up around the Great Lakes and so forth. That's a famous story. Most people know that story. They knew enough about germ warfare to do that much, and I guarantee you they knew more than that because their knowledge goes back a long way. They have the forbidden knowledge. They have the brotherhoods that secure that knowledge throughout the generations, and they can be Masons or Mithrians or whatever you want to call them. But you trace the lineage of, say, like the pharmaceutical companies, go all the way the frick back to Sumer, right? And it's the mushroom cult. These are the guys that were making medicine in Egypt. These are the guys that made medicine in it's the same families, it's the same people, it's the same fucking bloodlines. It's not a joke. Through Greece, into Rome and Italy, into Europe, across the ocean, into the United States, where what became the United States. It's the same fucking people selling the same fucking drugs. Like right now, they are peddling, and I have this. I probably should have had a tablet or something so I could hold up pictures. But I've always been a bit of a free thinker. I am fiercely heterosexual, unfortunately, and I'm going someplace with this. But I mean, or not unfortunately, but I mean, back in my day, it was not cool to be gay. Not at all. Not at fucking all. I mean, people forget that just, like, I'm not that old, but I mean, there was a time when being gay could get you beat up just for being gay. Right? Anyway, there was a great stigma to being gay. All right. They have pretty much removed that stigma. But the idea is that they wiped out the gay population. I have no gay friends, and I always had gay friends. I grew up with gay friends. Some guys are mahu. Some guys fucking play with the girls, right, from when we were kids. And Hawaiians have a slightly different thought about the way that works, right, as opposed to a lot of other people that I know, right? You can't hang out with them. You can't, right? They're pretty much ostracized, so on and so forth. Here, still the same, but at the same time, like, you had a place we called Hamburger Mary's, where gay people could hang out. There's a lot of gay hula dancers and kumu hula that teach hula and the arts and music and singers and so forth. Just like in every other culture, it's usually the homosexuals or those that are the between people. Right? I remember the Puna saying that they're the ones in between. Right? They're between female and male, because there are some females that are gay and there are some, right? And we use the word gay. But anyway, the idea being is that I have no gay friends left because they're all died. All of them. Every fucking one of them died. You know why? Because the government lied to them and their doctors lied to them and lots of people lied to them and told them that, okay, so this would be like the size of a sperm, right? The diameter of a sperm. This would be the size of a hole in the condom, right? I mean, just natural hole in latex. I mean, latex has to breathe a little bit. And I mean, that's like pretty tiny. I don't remember the microns. I should have wrote down the microns. But anyway, it's about right. And then there's the AIDS virus. So it goes right, no issue. It doesn't protect you. It didn't protect them. They wore their condoms and they thought they could still be promiscuous and they died. All right, now there's this woman that comes along and does a whole bunch of research. Her name, which I constantly don't pronounce correctly, I'm going to go with Mikovits. But it could be Mikovits. But anyway, Dr. Judy. She wrote this book. You should read this book. You should get this book and read it. I mean, it'll make you sad, but at least she's blowing the whistle and telling you the truth. It's better to be informed than be stupid. Anyway, she is the reason why Magic Johnson isn't dead. Simple as that. Her fucking research, and you can say what you want, and people try to defame and right. But see, that's the thing. You may remember that Magic Johnson didn't die, but you never figured out why. They never told you why. Right? Because they figured out how to treat the disease, finally, because of the research that this woman did. All right. Right now, they're telling you the same fucking stupid lie about, okay, so let's say that's a human hair. That's a hole in the, what do you call it? In a cloth or, other masks. And there's your coronavirus. right? All you're doing is building up the coronavirus in your mask. Simple as that. Anyway, same lies, same people telling the same lies, same people making the same money or making money off of these same lies. And now let's talk about some of the crazy speak, word salad, double speak, 1984-esque, Stranger in a Strange, all those fucking books that were, turns out that was notice. That was notice. They were giving us notice. They were telling us what was going to happen because my oldest boy, and we're taking a break from those books right now. I gave him a couple of them. I gave him Animal Farm in 1984. And after he put down, he didn't like Animal Farm. And then after he put down especially because he looks around and sees that this is what's going on, right? Mr. Jones is going to come back. It's the Rona. But anyway, 1984, he put that book down and he just went, fuck this book. I mean, like, seriously, it actually changed his mood. I was sad. So I just told him, write a book report on it. And now he's reading happy stuff like Wrinkle in Time. And I made him read some Feynman and stuff like that. But they were giving us notice, right? They were telling us what they were going to do. And sure as fuck, this is what they're doing, right? Okay, now here's the thing. Are you fooled, right? We can see that this country is basically busted in half. Right now, right? 26 states open, 24 states closed, last I checked, or maybe it's 28 and 22. I can't remember. Anyway, but because it's changing daily now, we're getting, court rulings where they're saying, yeah, that violates the Constitution. Oh, sorry, there's this thing called the First Amendment, and the orders and rules are being overturned. And this is the thing. We're going to go down that road, but let me finish this road. So basically, these government officials are causing you harm. Right? They're not, and our news media is absolutely causing you harm, telling you that a mask is going to protect you. No, hydroxychloroquine will protect you. I was just in a forum, and basically, India has 4 times our population, and 197 less deaths, 170 or 167 times less deaths. Oh crap! I closed the windows, but anyway, because all the numbers were there. But it's like they've had like 15,000 deaths in a nation of 1 billion people, right? Or 14 or 15,000 have died. What did they do? They were giving out hydroxychloroquine. And they were giving out hydroxychloroquine once a week. It's not like they were giving these people, eating them like candy every day. It's like once a week they were lining up, taking the hydroxychloroquine. They certainly didn't have the resources to make everybody wear a mask. They weren't doing social distancing. Their cities, there isn't a city, I don't believe, in India that has less population density than an American city. I mean, their cities are packed. I've never been there, but I've seen pictures and I've talked to people that have been there. And, there's an area on Oahu that is the most densely populated area of all the Hawaiian Islands. It's all got skies, it's got tall condos and apartment buildings and stuff like that, all in a very small area. Okay. You go there and it's, there are cities in India that are like 4 times as dense as that because the buildings are so, just crazy. Anyway, you would think that if it was so dangerous that it would have swept through the population and wiped out. Nope. Right? Hydroxychloroquine is the difference. HCQ. Now see, this guy named Trump, he is a head of state, and head of states tend to talk to other heads of state. And so the head of state of India and a head of state in France both told him about HCQ. All right, so he comes back to the United States. Well, actually, I don't think, we have these things called phones, and there's this and so on. I don't know how they communicated, but anyway, so Trump comes back and he mentions hydroxychloroquine, and the media jumps on him. And other people jump, right? And they're talking about injecting bleach, and it's fucking awesome. Actually, it's awesome, because now they're using, like, both sides, make no mistake, both sides are using this thing to their best effect. Absolutely, right? Let no crisis go to waste. So basically what we have is this media telling you, like, on the news here in Hawaii, on the news, they said exactly the opposite of the truth. That French study where only 5 people died out of 1,061 people, they were saying that study said the opposite and that it was dangerous. And they're still touting this thing that hydroxychloroquine is dangerous, even though it's been approved for, 60 years? If it's not dangerous for that, how come it's suddenly dangerous for malaria and other, right, what it's labeled for? But off-label would be treating COVID-19. And do I need to do this for you? I'm going to do it for you anyway. Let's see here. Certificate, put cert, of CO, you know where I'm going with this, of vaccination identification. They tell you what they're doing if you pay attention. It's a certificate of vaccination ID in 2019, which is when this thing was hatched. Virus, right? And are they not pushing the idea that in order for you to travel, you should have a certificate that says that you've been vaccinated or that you've been, right? And they're doing all this. I mean, what they're doing and what the alliance has forced them to do is show their hand, right? They push this thing to the wall. They put their metal they put it to the metal, and we weren't ready, right? They dumbed us down pretty fucking far, right? And make no mistake, I'm saying us. I'm not saying you guys are dumbed down. I'm saying we were all like, I didn't even fucking know my name, and neither do you, most of you. You don't know where you are, right? I'm not in the county of Maui. I'm on Maui County. I'm in Maui County on the island of Maui, right in the middle of the sea. I am not, according to their presumptions, I am in Washington D.C. 96768, which is Makawao on Maui, which is a district, right? I mean, they've got us so fucking mind washed. It's crazy. We're so mind washed that if you tell somebody that you tell them this stuff, and it's crazy. And like I said, I've been studying this stuff. I quit paying tax to the IRS, to the Department of the Treasury, IRS, once I figured out that I didn't owe the tax and that I didn't have any money from within because I live without. But now I've taken it a step further, and like I said, I gave you 3-cent stamps. You know what I'm saying is true. But the idea being is that we are so fucking mind washed that it sounds like crazy talk. Right? It's been 2001. It's been 19 years I've been studying this stuff, and it still makes me go, nah, that can't be true. And then sure as fuck, it turns out to be true. Right? So like I said, got to know what the words mean. You need to know your name. It's kind of important. You need to know about endorsements. You need to know about commercial law. You need to know about public and private. You need to, there's a lot of stuff you need to know. You don't just come into this, right? If you want to be ignorant and free, you want what has never been and what will never be. It's a cute little rhyme, but there it is. Right? You can't be ignorant. And they have done every fucking thing to us to make us ignorant. Right? And then, see, and it wouldn't be so bad, but because they fear us, because there's billions of us, and there's only thousands of them, they have done everything they can to slow population growth. Right? This is not conspiracy theory. Just think about it. If you were a few thousand and you had billions to govern, you want to slow down the multiplication that's going on there. And they figured out many ways to do it. Again, understand that they are, and when I say they, and see, it's about to get interesting, it's just about to get very interesting, my friends. Disclosure is coming. Make no mistake, disclosure is coming. Everything, let's just say, okay, once in a while, I get on a conference call. And it's a bunch of interesting people, let's just say. And once in a while, on that conference call, will come a spook. We'll just call him a spook. And then they will say things which may or may not turn out to be true. Because see, here's how this works. If they tell you bullshit every time, then you'll never believe them. You recognize the voice and you just don't believe them. But if every once in a while they hit it directly, right? Hit it just, like they tell you what's going to happen, and sure enough, it happens. Like in that pile of notes, I wrote it down. It's like how you know the good guys are winning. All right. And the good guys are winning. They are. It's a war, and there's going to be casualties. And part of that casualty is your personal liberties at the moment. But if you stand up, you'll get them back. But if you surrender them, you never get them back because they will anyway. But all right. So the bottom line is, oil, and got to remember, oil was like up over $100 a barrel at the time that this guy was talking. So talking about $20 oil was like fucking insane, right? That was just like crazy, stupid talk. Those days are gone forever, and there's never going to be 20. They were paying people to take oil away. There was a time for a little while here when this was more than 100 fucking barrels of oil, right? This right here, I could have traded for 100 barrels of oil. The world has gone insane, my friends, like completely and utterly insane. But anyway, one of the things that this guy said was that, oil was going to go under 20 or under. That would be a clue. That would be your sign. And that it would be wet in Southern California. And then there were a bunch of other things in there. And anyway, he hit them. Bam, 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 bam. All of them. Okay. And other times he's been completely wrong, right? Because disinfo, right? Because they can't tell you everything that they're going to do. I mean, this is literally warfare. But there is times when they want information to get out to people. All right. So here's one of the things. If you have the wherewithal, my thing has always been, and I wrote this long dissertation a long time ago, about just fucking stay home, turn everything off, quit paying your bills, grow your own food. And if you got a huge amount of people to do that, you get their attention in no time. Because don't give them anything to do. Don't stand out there with a fucking sign and give them a target. Don't do anything. Just stay home. Right? I mean, don't just pacifist. Strikes work. I mean, like nobody shows up to work. And now what? Okay, anyway. So basically, both sides are using this to their best advantage because now everybody's staying home. The ones that are open are going to find that, the economy is going to limp back. The ones that are still closed, like this state is still closed. You can't, I mean, there are thousands and thousands of tourist cars on the side of the road parked down by the airport because ain't nobody in the state that isn't living here, right? Because, I mean, the airlines, I mean, oh my God. Anyway, I'm rambling. Like I said, I'm ranting. But the idea is that the longer they stay closed, the more economic damage there is going to be. Simple as that. All right. Both sides using the sheltering in place thing to their advantage. Now, the one side is using it to expose the other side because if you take a hard look around, it doesn't look like there's that much reason to shelter in place. Now, does there? This looks like, yeah, if you're like, what's the average age of a person that's died of this? If you take a look at the numbers, because now the numbers are starting to come back, and we can start sifting through data and so forth, and start doing metadata and start doing analysis and the kind of fun stuff I like and mechanical, like why does this stuff happen? 80 years old is the average age of somebody that dies. 80. Do younger people die? Absolutely, but I mean the average age is 80. 80. So you're like 40 years old, you're probably, and you're not like smoking like a chimney and don't have diabetes or other contraindications, heart problems, or, other lung issues already like asthma and so on. Probably, especially with some HCQ, you're going to be fine. You see the other video I just made. If you have high levels of vitamin D and vitamin C, you're probably immune anyway. Immune, like you're not going to get it. And if you do get it, you'll get through it fine. And then let's talk about the dumbing down for just a second. See, I can't go down a straight path. I'm sorry. But so a vaccine that has the virus in it will give you immunity, but catching it naturally won't give you immunity. Does anybody else have a problem with that besides me? So in other words, the only way to become immune to this vaccine, according to some of these vaccine pushers, again, going back to those mushroom cult, going back to the pharmacology, going back to the Sumerians, and who have been lying to you forever and lied to you about AIDS and lied to you about every fucking thing. The only way for you to get immune to this thing is to let them inject you with it. But if you catch it naturally and get over it and it doesn't kill you, that won't provide you with any immunity. Right? Okay. Anyway, I mean, and I got people that will argue that. I mean, I've seen them arguing it on Facebook and other places where they're like, yeah, Bill Gates. I'm just like, oh my fucking God. All right. Also, what we're seeing is they're exposing those people that, what's the word I want? That are lying to you. Well, first off, the same liars that lied to you about AIDS, the same liars that lied to you about JFK, let's jump way back, the same liars that lied to you about the Vietnam War, the same liars that lied to you about jet fuel melting steel beams, the same liars that lied to you about, oh, we got to get into Afghanistan, the same liars that lied to you about Iraq, not once but twice, are the same liars that are lying to you about COVID-19. Oh shit, there goes the bot. They're going to catch it. Anyway, the Rona. It's the same guys. It's the same fucking guys. All right. These guys and these brotherhoods understand. Okay, they come in two flavors. We can go with Republican and Democrat. We can go with Christian and Luciferian, or Saturnist and so forth. Right? Okay. However you want to slice and dice it, and then understand. Just like the libertarians, they're all libertarians, but they don't get along. And have you ever been to a libertarian convention? It's fucking awesome. They fucking fight like cats and dogs, and then they go drink afterwards. It's awesome, or get high, one of the two. But I mean, they don't agree on any fucking thing, but they're all libertarians. Same thing with the Luciferians, those that worship Baal, Moloch, name them, all those guys, Lucifer, Satan, they're all, that's the aspects of Saturn. Okay, they all have their own brotherhoods, they all have their own fucking secret societies, they all have their own stored knowledge, like the mushroom cult has all the knowledge for medicine. There's a military cult that has all kind of knowledge for, right? There's a bunch of them and they save knowledge over centuries and they pass it down. Okay, these guys don't all get along either. They fight with each other like fucking cats and dogs also, and they're like vicious about it, right? They have no qualms about killing each other. And if you get in the fucking way, well, you're in the fucking way. You know what I mean? It's like, sorry. They don't care. I mean, the more the merrier that they kill. That's the better the sacrifice, the more, they're evil. That's as simple as that. Okay. And what we have is a culture or a bunch of people, Pollyanna fucking idiots in the West that think that evil doesn't exist in the world anymore and everybody's good because they're good. So they expect everybody else to be good. Like they would never do some of the things that these people do. It wouldn't cross their mind. It wouldn't cross their fucking mind. I mean, so if it wouldn't cross their mind, they can't conceive of it. I mean, natural progression of thinking there. Like they literally can't conceive of it because the thought would never cross their mind to rape a child, for example. Right? I mean, that's not even in their realm of thinking. So they can't believe it when you tell them that there are those that would and do and are. So this is why you have to, like I said, and in the very near future, some of you red-pilled motherfuckers are going to have to take care of these blue-pilled motherfuckers because you're going to have to hold their hair while they're fucking throwing up over their toilets. It's not a joke, right? And it's gonna be a little rugged going forward because it took me a long time to get to the point. Years. Go watch my videos. It took me years to figure out and unravel this, right? And the rabbit holes never end. Like now we're moving into the other dimensions and others that are not from here. Yeah, I mean, I've always looked at the sky since I was a little child at night and went, there's no way we're the only ones. Well, it turns out we're not the only ones. But I mean, never mind any of that. Just the guys that are here on the planet now, all right? And in this dimension, in this time, in this right now, they're fucking us up. And we need to wake the fuck up and push back. It's as simple as that. We have documents like constitutions and so forth that are designed to do this. And okay, so now I'm finally gonna get to that part that's like been 15 minutes ago. But where in some of these blue states, like I said, they have sleepwalked right into it by believing their own bullshit. We have constitutions. There are state constitutions and federal constitutions. Now at the state level, most of the state fuckers are in on it, right? The judges and so forth. So you're never gonna win it, but you can take it into a state de jure court, but you have to have standing. You need to have some standing. That means you can't be represented. You have to be able to present yourself. But anyway, the idea is that, like the state of Hawaii, this state's going to go bankrupt paying the fucking claims. I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. They are arresting young girls for breaking rules and orders, right? They're not sheltering in place. They're not staying quarantined. Okay, these are people that they don't have the virus. They're healthy, really, and they're supposed to be quarantined. You don't quarantine the healthy. You quarantine the sick. They have First Amendment rights. They have right to travel. They have they have treaty rights. They have so many rights are being violated by these fucking idiot Democrat governors and mayors that, I mean, and all it has to do is like, they win at the time, by the way. The Jesus tells you in that book, don't put up a fight, right? Just just go with them willingly. Yeah, right? Okay. Okay. And now $1,000 a minute for every fucking minute they detain you that was unconstitutional, unlawful, illegal. All right. I mean, I've seen with my own eyes wins for people that have been held illegally just for the weekend, and it was like fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I mean, start adding up at $1,000 a minute. So there's that. There's let's see, fraudulent conveyance of fraudulent conveyance of language. I mean, I can go. The list is long. And that's their own statutes with their own fucking oaths of office. Then there's the de jure Constitution, the Constitution for the United States of America, not the Constitution of right? The United States, and again, start, right? Because they just, see, we assume, they know that we assume, and they make us assume, and then they fuck us. Are you a United States citizen? Notice those are all capital letters, right? Constitution of the United States. Where's the America? There's no America, right? See, and you just assume U.S.? Well, no, that's not U.S. USA, right? They got us 5. Like I said, we're so fucking ignorant. It's painful. It's just like when I just started going, yeah, okay. But until somebody fucking punches you in the face and goes, take a look at some of this. And yes, it fucking matters. Like, yes, it matters. They're gonna try and tell you, it doesn't matter. No, it matters. It absolutely matters. The difference between a U.S. person and a United States of America national, 2 different things, people. And like I said, you need to have standing. You want to go into court and sue these fuckers for constitutional violations? Well, guess what? The Constitution for these guys, right, of the United States, you ain't no party to that Constitution. They are, though. See, so you got to change your thinking, because they have an oath of office and they swore to uphold that Constitution. And this one tells you that you can't, they shall make no law with regard or respect to our right to peaceable assembly. That's Amendment 1, motherfuckers. Right? That's the first one. And it's backed up by the second one. Pardon me, I get a little testy, but I mean, fuck. All right, so all you got to do is, okay, go with them, let them arrest you, fucking do the paperwork, put the bogus charges, right? And now you use all their paperwork against them, right? Fraudulent conveyance of language, violation of contempt of Constitution, on and on. Just you use every piece of paper they give you against them, and they're gonna lose. Like, they can't win. And if you're smart, you'll go, oh, did I write that down? If you're smart, you'll go get some help from various inspector generals. And crap. I got too many notes. Right? When I'm writing my stuff, it doesn't matter. But on video, you don't want to sit here and watch me read my own writing for days. But there's this one scene, I write it in all different colors so I can find it easily, but not on the fly. But anyway, there are various people's, I remember, I wrote help in big letters on it. So there are various people in the government that will help you take these people on, because it's a bit of a chore, but don't let them trick you into trying to fool around with the statutes. What you want to do is just go find out about their bonds. Bam, help. All right, so it's the private international. Okay, so it's private international law, and it's the assistant legal advisor. That's in the Department of State, or the State Department. Pardon me. Right? There's a difference between the State Department and the Department of State. Again, I'm not kidding. That "of" is your clue. So they know, right? They can talk all day long, and they know, right? And they use the proper terms. And see, we just assume that the Department of State and the State Department are the same thing. We just assume that the Treasury Department and the Department of the Treasury are the same thing. We just assume that. How do you know that? And if there is, why do they have different addresses and are located in different places, if that's the case? Anyway, so you can go to them. There are other inspector generals, depending on what you want to do, that you can help and say, hey, I need help. I'm suing these guys. Or, hey, I'm going after these guys' bonds. Or, hey, they violated constitutional rights. And, hey, I need an attorney. Or, hey, I need some legal advice if I'm going to present it for myself, and so on. So go get help. They can't win. It's in black and white. There are cases going back to like fucking 1861. It doesn't matter if there's an emergency or not. They don't get to violate the Constitution. They may not issue orders, directives, unless, of course, you're a UCMJ, where you're in the military or something like that, or a sailor. Ooh, so, like I said, you need to fucking get your status good and correct. But the idea is they cannot write orders, laws, edicts, any fucking proclamation, any of that shit that they've been putting out and claiming is like, right? In Hawaii, they're actually saying rules and orders, violating rules and orders. They're rules and orders, right? Fuck you. They're not laws, and they don't. And you cannot issue rules and laws, or excuse me, rules and orders that are contrary to the Constitution, in contravention to the Constitution. You just can't. You're not allowed. You don't get to. You don't have that authority. There isn't any authority. I cannot delegate that authority, so you can't have that authority, because if I can't delegate, all the power of the government comes from the people, right? We delegate them the authority to do our day-to-day business that we don't want to do. So they're officers that are supposed to serve us and in government, right? That's not exactly not what's going on, and you all know it. But the idea is that you cannot delegate authority to the government that you don't have. I can't tell my neighbor to put a face mask on, or I'll take him to jail, or I'll put him in a cage, or I'll hurt him, or I'll take money from him. I don't have the authority. He can wear a mask if he wants to. He doesn't have to, right? They can't tell you, right? I can't tell my neighbor not to go on the beach. Can't, not allowed. I don't have that authority, right? Even if I fucking own that piece of property, he still has the right to be on that beach. He may not have the right to trespass on my property to get to that beach, but if he comes up on the boat, as long as he's up to the high water line in this state, that ain't my property, and I don't get to tell him to get off the beach. All right, so if I can't do it, the people can't do it. How does the mayor or the governor able to do it? Right, that guy that was in the water. That's a great one. That it's famous. That guy is going to bankrupt that fucking county, and if he doesn't, I mean, there should be a line of people that are there to help that guy out. But the idea being is, do you want the hassle? Right? I mean, are you willing to sit there and write the letters? I've got multiple letters on my computer. I've been working on them for days, and I get every fucking word right, and then I got to figure out who to send them to, right? Because you can write a great letter, but you send it to the wrong person, and you're not going to get anywhere. So you need to send it to, like I said, you got to let the IRS know that you're non-decedent, non-assumption, non-intestate, blah, blah. There's like a list. I have an entire paragraph here of all the things that you are. See, like it's from here on down. All the things that you are, and because you can't prove negatives. Although I was just in a great conversation with a mathematician where he disagreed, and it was great because it was a great conversation, right? And at the end of it, we didn't hate each other. I mean, right? We just it's math, so right, and that's the kind of math where 2 and 2 is 4. But on that one, I'm not going to go down the road because I'm going to slaughter it. But the idea is that it's very difficult to prove a negative. You have to prove it with an absence of a positive. But anyway, the idea is you can prove positives, and you can say that, all right, okay, let's say they assume that you're dead. They assume that you're incompetent. They assume that you're not the age of majority. They assume you're an infant, the infantry. They assume you're an infant. Seriously. What else do they assume? They make all these different assumptions, right? Okay, and I mean, it's a bunch of things: intestate, incompetent, insolvent, right? All these things. Okay, and you got to let them know that that you're first off, I'm alive, I'm living. That's multiple movies, but the one that keeps coming up in many of these forums and circles is Pirates of the Caribbean. When Captain Jack Sparrow walks in and is like, nope, I'm not dead, right? They're telling you stories. They're telling you what to do through the movies. They have to give you notice. Like I said, the guys at the top of that pyramid are fanatics. They're fanatics. Okay, there's certain things, and see, I'm being warned, is there's a whole lot fewer laws, but if you cross the line, you pay with your life. That's as simple as that. You're correct, because a man that doesn't have his word has no word. And if you give your word that you're not going to reveal certain information, and you reveal certain information, you get what you deserve. And actually, I don't have an argument with that. But the idea being is that, I'm going to skip it. But the idea being is that in the movies and in the top of this pyramid, these people over here, these fierce and religious fanatic, oh God, they're just, I mean, okay, fine. I mean, they rule the world, so you really, I mean, and I'm just some peon peasant. But they have to give you notice. Right? So if they tell you that they're going to fuck you and you don't get out of the way and then you get fucked, not their problem. Right? That's part of their code. That's not a joke. Right? So if you don't understand that they have to give you notice and they're giving you notice, and then you don't act on that notice, your fault, not their fault. That's the way they think. Right? And they have to give you notice. So now you have to figure out, how do they give you notice? Well, they love giving notice in cartoons because you're not going to pay attention to notice in cartoons. Right? But people are starting to figure out, wait a minute, Simpsons is fucking calling it. I mean, it's getting a little weird with Simpsons. On and on, right? But I mean, you go back and old movies and see, that's again, it's parables, it's stories, it's like the Bible, right? You can take it literally. And if you take it literally and you do what you're going to do, you're going to have probably a pretty good life, right? Because what is that? That's golden rule. That's the number one thing, that a whole book, you can boil it down to treat others the way you want to be treated. Who's got an argument with that? I mean, that's it. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's what it boils down to, right? Do the right thing. How hard is this? But yeah, it's pretty hard, it turns out. But anyway, the idea is that they have to give you notice because they are fiercely religious, and part of their religion on both sides is notice. But oddly enough, the other side of that coin is secrecy. They all of them agree on secrecy, right? Whether they're the good or the bad, you gotta come to this knowledge, right? And you gotta jump through hoops, and you gotta be able to pass certain tests, and there's a lot of things you need to do in order to get that knowledge. All right, now you can get it the good way by being pious and going through and studying this way and so forth, and you can get it the bad way by fucking doing atrocious makes me want to throw up in my mouth the things that they do for knowledge and money and power and so forth. And again, I am of the belief, I was raised in a family of strange beliefs. We believe strangely. And one of our strange beliefs is that it's a never ending cycle. This is your first, I've made videos about this. Ain't your first time, ain't gonna be your last time. All right. So for these people to sell one lifetime, they don't understand, they just don't understand. One, they're worshiping a god of justice, right? Saturn is a justice bringer. So there will be justice. There will be justice. It's as simple as that. I don't care what those people try to say and how they pervert it and how that, right? Nope, they're deceivers. They've deceived themselves. There will be justice. Okay, justice is coming, my friends. Make no mistake. And you're going to get sick. You're going to get sick to your stomach of justice. I promise. Because, like I said, you take a baby to a cliff and drop it. Gravity doesn't go, oh, that's a baby. So, we're making an exception. You take an evil man to the cliff and drop him. Yeah, right. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Innocent, right? Justice doesn't care. Does not. Their justice is coming, and these people deserve justice. And what they've done, justice is coming. I don't care how cynical you are, justice is coming. They're not getting out of this. They were raping children, right? They were selling body parts. They were, they were trafficking in flesh. And most people think that trafficking in flesh, you were thinking living flesh. Not always. Well, yeah, it was alive because they wanted it to put into somebody else. But not always. Sometimes they were they were trafficking in flesh, right? And for all things, for medical purposes, for financial purposes, for sacrificial purposes, for ailments. They're eating it. Look at some of the. Like I said, justice is coming, right? But here's the thing: have you ever eaten veal? Have you ever had a lamb chop? All right, that's how they look at us, right? They don't see. What? We can talk. So fucking what? They gave us this language, right? They gave us this babble. Understand that back in Egyptian times, the language was not like this, right? It was not lingua, right? We did not have these kind of symbols. They had pictures. Right now, I can go meditate. You can go meditate. You can go take shrooms or whatever your drug of choice is, marijuana, the cannabis. THC cannabis. Blah blah blah. All these different things. There are many different kind of enhancements, and you can have crazy experiences, right? Ayahuasca. That's a new thing. Like the yuppies now are doing the ayahuasca wild thing. And then you come back and you can't fucking tell me what happened, right? You can kind of sort of try to give me an idea what happened, but you can't tell me what happened because you don't have words for anything. You have no language whatsoever, right? You can't make sounds or symbols to describe what happened. Okay, that ain't an accident. Back in Egyptian times, one thing I used to like, pay dreamers. And I love it. The fact that they used to pay people to dream for them so that they would have dreams, and then the people would have dreams for them and be able to, help give them guidance and so forth because they would dream for them. But anyway, they had symbology, their hieroglyphs. Your brain could think in those kind of hieroglyphs so that your brain could talk to you. Your brain. I've got to get my language straight. The higher self, the thing that, right? Because you're the rock in the stream and the consciousness is the stream, right? But this is just flesh. You're not in there. I'm not in here. I'm not making sounds other than through this thing right here. But the thoughts are coming from someplace else. Obviously, your memories are stored not in the brain. We can prove this. We can take a scalpel and so on. But and see, all of this has been hidden from us because of these same demons that have taken over medicine, have taken over I mean, if you think like current events is bad, and some of you here are seeing that what the masses are seeing on MSM and what the reality of the situation would, like, say, let's take regard like the Flynn, for example. If you think current events are bad, your history is worse, right? And like I said, if you think their pandemic models are bad, you should see their climate models. But anyway, and you can see their climate models. You can experience their climate models. I mean, we've been having cool weather here in Hawaii. It hasn't, I mean, it's been warming up nicely in the daytime, but there's been a couple of nights when it's way chillier than it should be in May. And other people are, having snowstorms still in May, still snow on the ground. Really, right? And is the climate changing? Yes. Is the sun doing some interesting stuff? Yes. Is it because of us? No. Simple as that. But anyway, these lying demons, the same guys that are lying to you about climate change, same guys that are lying to you about this COVID, this thing, this virus. Is the virus real? Absolutely, it's real. It's killing people. It's real. But on Maui, what do we got? 144,000 people here. They claimed 6 died, but then it turned out 4 of them probably wasn't from the virus. It was from, right, 2 of them actually, they came in, they were pretty healthy, and yeah, they had the virus. They didn't know how to treat them, right? They didn't use hydroxychloroquine. They didn't anything. I'm not sure what they did, and they died. The other 4 that they're counting, and this is on an island of 144,000 people. Do the math, my friends. Like, that's statistically insignificant. But anyway, like if you were running as any kind of freaking scientific test or any study or anything, and your positive results were 6 out of 144,000, yeah. If you had a drug that worked 6 out of 144,000 attempts, are you hearing me? Anyway, all right. So the idea being is that 4 of them were already going to die. Basically, let's put it that way. But because they died with coronavirus, they put coronavirus on the. God damn it! I keep saying it, and now I'm in trouble. Like I said, this video is going to get taken down, or it's going to have a little warning on the bottom that says, only believe what the MSM says. And see, this should be of tremendous concern to you that Bill Gates can talk about it, Greta can talk about it, but doctors, right? That this doctor, right? Oh, got it. All right, there you go. All right, she can't talk about it. Those 2 guys, nurses that are actually in hospitals, they can't talk about it, right? But Bill Gates and Greta can talk about it. This should be of extreme concern to many of you. And maybe you should do something about it and not just write a letter. All right. I mean, I'm just saying. And then the whole point being is that the good guys are winning. This is a last ditch. Well, actually, this is not the last ditch. I'm serious. Aliens are the next thing. I swear to fucking God, aliens are the next thing. But this is their last ditch attempt to try to unseat Trump. And it didn't work. Simple as that. States are opening back up again. People have pretty much seen through the bullshit. They've pretty much seen that, like I said, I don't find Trump to be my friend. Trump is calling it a pandemic too. How is it 99% survivable and it's a pandemic? It's just, anyway. But I see the game. I see the politics that he's playing, and he's sleepwalking them into serious trouble because now even Democrats are going, wait a minute, all these Republican states are open. Right? Well, wait a minute, they're not losing their businesses. They're allowed to get their haircut, right? Which is, I enjoy the fact that it's boiled. See how they boil it down to the most basic, stupidest thing, right? So anyway, it's haircuts now, right? But I mean, how about just like, not losing your livelihood, not losing the business? I know people, gym owners, that it's done, child care, done, right? So when it does open up again, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it because I don't know. I need to have a drink of water or something. Just a couple houses or down the street away is they used to do childcare, but of course they're not doing childcare now. That's how they paid their bills. They may lose their house. I have numerous clients that they're middle class and they have a couple rentals. No income from the rentals. I don't know them, but I know of people here on Maui that they do the Airbnb wild thing to pay for their properties here. And see, they don't own a house here. And I have anyway, I'm torn on that issue because you know what? It's their property; they can do what the fuck they want with it. But at the same time, them doing that makes property and rents here higher. But anyway, the bottom line is they ain't getting no income. They got like 4 or 5 houses, and they have not a dime, obviously, because there's nobody staying in their Airbnbs. So they're missing mortgage payments, and $1,200 isn't cutting it in Hawaii. Right? That's not going to cover your mortgage for 5 different properties. So they're getting mortgage relief and all that kind of stuff. But what happens when that runs out? And that's like 90 days, and they are panicked. So what you're going to see, and if you look at Mike Maloney, maybe I'll put those videos down there, we got a real estate crash coming extraordinaire. And we already had a bubble. So when this thing goes, it's going to be fantastic. What else did I want to talk about going down this? Now we've turned the corner on the financial road. Silver. Oh my God, get silver. Just buy silver. Just fuck it. Buy silver. I don't care. I mean, buy silver. I'm expecting, looking at some of the prognosticators out there, that we're going to get a dip in June, but I wouldn't count on it. And if it doesn't, I mean, there's a good chance, because I believe that they haven't lost control. Like I said, like this fight is on, and it's a death match, and it's awesome to behold, but they haven't lost control of it. So prices of metals, many people are predicting that they're going to do this. They're going to start going up. Okay, so if they go up too much, then the deep state will overreact, because they don't want you thinking that the dollar is shit, because it 10 trillion. 10 trillion. You guys can't even wrap your minds around that. I can't wrap my mind around that number. And I've spent many hours meditating on infinity and other things like that. A trillion is more stars than you can see in the sky. It's trillions and trillion. Like, oh, we just shovel on 2 more trillion. Oh, we'll shovel on another couple of trillion. 10 trillion. Oh, suddenly it's 12 trillion. If you don't think that the money that was in circulation, putting that much more into circulation isn't going to make everyone that is already here worth a whole lot less, you fooling yourself. That's as simple as that. It has never in the history of the world not happened when this fucking fiat money didn't go to zero. Never, not once. Right? Look, you see all those negatives? Never has happened. If they print fiat money, eventually it goes to zero. Right? We're down to where if this used to be 100 in 1913, we're down to less than 3 cents now. In fact, I think we're down to less than 2 cents now. And they're about to cut the last remaining bit of that out. Right now, you can take about less than 25 of these, depending on what you're trying to get, and you can get an ounce of silver. I would recommend you do it, because it's going to be pretty soon where it needs 100 of these to get an ounce of silver. And then it's going to be 1,000 of these to get an ounce of silver. I'm not fucking kidding. That's math. That's not conspiracy theory. That's not my fucking opinion. That's basic mathematics. It can't happen. They have been doing a fantastic job, I have to say. They have been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But they can't put it off very much longer. Do I think this is happening next week? No. Is it happening in a year or a month or two? Probably not. In a year or two? Yeah, now we're getting closer within the next, say, 5 to 7 years. I remember when I could get $50 of, well, I don't have any silver handy anywhere around here. I don't keep it around the house. It's not smart. But I do have a coin or two that I usually put in my pocket. But anyway, there's like 1 ounce of silver. I used to be able to get, for $50, I used to be able to get 10 of those shipped to my door. Not anymore. Now for $50, you can get 2 Silver Eagles, and it's probably about what, $20 last time I was checking to get, right. And see, because the premium, like spot is, I don't know what spot is. Last time I remember last time I looked at spot, I was just laughing because it was like 12 something. It's probably right around $15 right now. Here, I'll just go look. One fast one. At the moment, as we speak, it's just fun. Ooh, really? See, it's at 17. Right, you ain't getting, you can't get a coin. You can't get an ounce of silver for $17. You just can't. For $17.11, lovely. And gold is sitting at $17.31 as I make this on the, what is today? This is the 18th of May, 2020. We got problems, kids, and with what's coming, those prices can't hold. Get yourself some silver, and then you look at this gold-silver ratio. You just do the math on that one. Don't be tempted to buy gold. Don't be tempted to buy gold, because gold is definitely going to rocket, but silver is going to do more. Like silver is going to do just on a percentage basis. There's no way. I mean, it's just there's no way. There's a thing called revision to mean, and the revision to mean should be around. The number goes from like 10 to 20. I hear guys say 16. I hear guys say 12. Let's go with the high number, 20. That means that gold or silver has to go up 5 times, or gold has to come down commensurately for the gold silver ratio to return to the revision to mean, which is about 20 ounces. I'm going to say, actually, I like 16 is the number I like. 16 ounces for every ounce of gold. Right now, you need like 100. So 1 ounce of gold can buy 100 and more silver 1 ounce coins. So the moral of the story here is Peter Schiff. Yeah, I don't think he's right about a lot of things, but there are certain things that we absolutely agree on, and that's one of them. Silver is going to do well in the future. It looks very much, very, very, very much, if you look at all the different news and all the different articles coming from both sides of the spectrum, the alternative and the mainstream, they is about to change the money. The money's about to be no good. The money is, and I've been saying this for the longest time, and because, well, never mind the Rona, never mind anything else, fiat doesn't last. And we've been on pure fiat since 71 now. Our money's old. It doesn't usually last this long. And the only reason why it's lasted this long is because we're the world reserve currency. If this was Zimbabwe or all the other places, Kosovo and all the other places where they've had hyperinflations recently, it would have already happened. But we have the biggest military in the world, and we have the world reserve status. So we've been able to put it off, but we ain't putting it off much longer. So prepare. The same way you should have been buying toilet paper well ahead of this. Like I said, I didn't have to rush off to the store to buy toilet paper. I'm now playing a game because I'm in the ridiculous Democrat state where they are trying to require you to wear a face mask to go in and into a store. Where I'm just playing a game where it's like, can I put a face mask on that I know doesn't work and go in there and no, I will not submit. But I mean, if I really, really, really have to, can I? Yes. But I'll tell you what, I have been prepping and survival doing for however long it's been now. And so now I'm just eating up all the stuff that I just pulled up a bag of chia seeds that has been probably sitting down there for a while. So use that up and I'll replace it later. Rice and all the other stuff. I've got all my stuff in storage that I've been saving. I'm now eating, and I'm just waiting for them to get to the point where they're not so stupid that they ask me to put a face mask on, which goes back to the very beginning of this video, because I know for a fact that I'm not protecting them, and I'm not getting protection from them either. And the bottom line is neither one of us have the fucking virus in the first fucking place. Anyhow, so I'm just, like I said, using up my stores. And seeing how long I can last, and we've got a garden going, and I got guys giving me deer meat, and they got right. So I mean, fuck it, I don't even go sell. And if you guys are gonna force me to wear a face mask, I'm not spending money in your store. Simple as that. That's just it's a matter of principle, damn it. But anyway, the idea is that like I went to the farmers market. I was the only one there without a mask. The only one. These are supposed to be free thinking, when it comes to commerce, I've had many interesting conversations with people at that farmers market, because they're supposed to be kind of woke, but they believe these people, like, just do your research. Just look at the size of the holes. Even in that 95, that M95 or whatever that freaking mask is, that's supposed to be the cool one, the virus gets right through those holes. Simple as that. And here's the other thing. The list is long, but nurse after nurse, doctor after doctor, and see, this is why I have no respect for these guys, because these doctors and nurses should be coming out and saying, no, right, this isn't going to protect you from the virus, this isn't going to protect, right? I mean, no, but they don't. They just go along with it, right? Same thing, state of Hawaii. We're looking at, well, last I heard, it was 25. It's probably going to be more than that now. A 25% pay cut to the teachers of the state. 25%, a quarter of their income, shaved off, right? They were making $2,000. Now they're making $1,500. I mean, all right. The longer we stay shut, the higher that percentage is going to be. They're probably going to be like a third shaved off of their income, because you don't understand. In this state, or maybe you do understand. In this state, we revenue money from the tourists and put it in the state coffers. The way we raise that revenue, that revenue, is with taxes on rental cars, taxes on hotel rooms, 4% tax on every freaking dollar they spend in this state. I mean, like, we tax the fuck out of the tourists that come here to fund our ridiculous social programs that we have, our healthcare and our. I mean, we got more social programs than you can stake your finger at, and all of our teachers are state employees. So literally, state tax pays a teacher's salary. So if you're a teacher in this state, you by definition are a statist because you work for the state, literally. Okay, so we don't have any tourists. So no tax from gasoline that you put in those tourist cars is taxed pretty heavily at the local and state level. None. I mean, none. Like literally none. All the activities, all the helicopters and whale watches, and the dinner cruises and jet skiing and name it. I mean, downhill, the bicycle guys and right, because you can get to the top of the volcano and you can ride down. That's kind of fun. Many tourists like that. And there's an element of danger in there because every year we lose one or two of them because they're dumb and they don't know how to ride a bike down a mountain. Zip lining. Oh, there's big business, right? Nothing, zero. And see, there was tax on every single one of those on those things too, right? When they spent money on that, zero. So those people are out of business, and all the revenue from those people is zero. Also, the hotel rooms are empty. So there is no revenue coming in from that. Our state was always pretty healthy because we had a thriving tourist economy, and that means we had lots of dollars coming into our state. Right, if you just understand how basic economics works. So we didn't have to have much of an economy here. The local economy, yeah, but it was absolutely bolstered by the tourists. Well, we don't have any tourists. And like I said, we're going to have huge, this state is going to, they're going to get the pantsuit off of them by various people that were put in quarantine against their will, various people that understand that they had a right to travel and that they have a First Amendment right, and that the fucking governor of the state doesn't have the right to tell them to shelter in place or not go to the beach or. There's going to be, like, the lawsuits are going to fly. And I mean, they're already flying in other states, right? Hawaii, nobody gives a fuck about Hawaii. We got our congressional delegation is like 4 guys and what do we got? Like, how many? I don't even know how many electoral votes we have. But I mean, nobody gives a shit about the state. Let's just put it this way, right? It's a foregone conclusion that it's Democrat, and they don't even fucking worry about it, right? California, on the other hand, right? Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Right? It's going to be very clear to those people here very shortly who the tyrants actually were, because they call Trump a Nazi and they call him, right? But Trump didn't close your state down, right? Your governor did. Your Democratic governor did. And like I said, this is them using this to try to wake these. It's like taking Democrats and shaking them. Wake the fuck up! And of course, they still don't wake up. Right? Trump's telling us to drink bleach, and Trump's telling, right, Orange Man bad and Orange Man evil, and he wasn't prepared for this, and right, Cuomo was good, and right. Actually, you're not hearing too much of that Cuomo is good stuff, and actually, there was a little bit, and then it kind of died. And then people are starting to show up with guns to protest some of these governors, right? And they're being called terrorists. First Amendment is backed up by the Second Amendment, right? If you're going to try and tell us that this is a free speech zone, or you're going to try and tell us that we can't come to the Capitol and fucking look you fuckers in the eye and tell you you're violating the Constitution because you're going to send your dogs out with the badges and guns, and that doesn't necessarily mean the boys in blue. I mean, there's a lot of Capitol police and so forth, and most states have their own private police forces to protect their politicians. And Capitol buildings and so forth. But anyway, if you're going to send those, whatever goons they are, whoever they are, then we get to have guns too. And now I notice the other guys are very polite when large amounts of citizens who are pissed off carrying armaments that can fire as fast or better, and there are more of them than you are. Suddenly, these guys get polite. Have you noticed? But then the others are trying to say, oh, these are terrorists and so forth. No, those are American citizens that understand and have read the documents and are trying to figure out where the fuck these people think they have to get in their authority. Again, instead of showing up with a gun at the Capitol, why not take a pen to paper or type on your computer and learn how to endorse and learn how to put stamps and where you should put your stamps and where you should put your fucking signatures and what your fucking name is and what your standing is under the law, and send that into the government. And I guarantee you a lot more will happen with that than showing up with a gun and your red hat on. I'm just saying. So, like I said, learn your fucking status, learn what the words mean, learn the fucking law, and suddenly things will change, right? And it doesn't take thousands and thousands of you. It only takes a few of us to bankrupt them, right? Because they're going to lose in court. They're going to lose. They can't win. They have no leg to stand on, right? The thing was written, the original thing for the United States of America was written during a smallpox epidemic while they were at war. There is no state of emergency that they can claim supersedes the founding documents, the law of the land. It's the Constitution. Sorry, we have inalienable rights. We have rights that you can. I mean, that those documents. If that's again, I don't feel bad for the teachers that are getting pay cuts because they didn't teach anybody anything. But those founding documents make it very fucking clear that it's plain as day. They are there to secure our rights. They don't give us any rights. We already have the rights, right? But I mean, we already have the rights. We're not given rights. The rights are ours. And all the treaties that secure rights before that, Article 1, Section 6, 9 also, says that all the treaties that were in place ahead of this thing are in force and are, right? So if you had a treaty that guaranteeing your right, and this mostly has to do with the Indian tribes, but the Constitution does not supersede those treaties. Right, and if there are treaties with other countries, it does not, right? Because those treaties are assumed, right? There you go. Yeah, there happens when you assume me, right? Is it ask you me? Is what the way that works, right? Assume that those treaties are based on natural law also, and on individual right and so forth. And usually they are actually. If you take a look. It's natives saying that, look, we have a right to this property. We've always lived here, where this is where, right? Anyway, but so those treaties say, yes, that lake is yours. Yes, you always have fishing rights there. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But yeah, you have the right to defend yourself. Yeah, you have the right to peaceable assembly and to worship God however the fuck you please. You have the right, right? I mean, it's all, you are not given any rights. You are having those rights secured by that document. All right. Violations to those rights and that document are severe. Go look it up. Just go fucking look it up. It's always like $25 million and 7 years imprisonment, not less than 1 year imprisonment, not less than. I mean, it's severe. And let's see, if you wrote an order that says that you can't go to church on Sunday, or there can't be more than 10 people in a room, that would keep a congregation of, say, 25 people from meeting together, and Congress shall make no law. And in the state of Hawaii, I don't have it here. But anyway, our Constitution is completely different than your guys' Constitution. Article 1 of our Constitution is basically the Bill of Rights. And and you got to know them, because if you don't know them, you can't have them. But basically, it doesn't say Congress. It's just no law shall be made with respect to religion, assembly, petition, the ability to petition the government for redress and so forth. Okay, that's ours. And it, like I said, our Article 1 is basically the Bill of Rights. And then they basically just stole the words from, because we had a constitutional convention in, 1978, and changed everything around and made it so that our Constitution now, for the state of Hawaii Constitution, or the Hawaii State Constitution, is basically mirrors the Constitution of the Constitution for the United States of America. But it also, interestingly enough, interweaves kingdom law, right? Because you got to remember, this was the conquered kingdom of Hawaii. This is not like any other state in the Union. This was its own nation with its own kingdom, with its own monarchy before it became the 50th state. And there are quite a few people in this state who very much resent being called the 50th state. Promise. But anyway, our Constitution weaves those two things together: the Kanaka Maoli and the that would be the what's the direct translation? The native people that were here, the indigenous people of Hawaii, made sure that Constitution had elements of their Constitution in it, because they had to blend. Because the Kingdom of Hawaii had a Constitution, And anyway, they blended the two, and now we have this Hawaii state constitution, and we are as far outside the United States as you can be and still be inside the United States. But even that constitution makes it very clear that you don't get to make laws regarding peaceable assembly or freedom of religion or right. It's in there. So at the state level, but it won't matter because there's no fucking Supreme Court. There's no justice in the state of Hawaii that's going to, the way the politics works, rule against the governor or mayor. However, at the federal level, they don't give a fuck, right? So you need to be able to get your shit into the federal courts. Now, see, and that what I've been writing is step one is you gentlemen always provide notice. You must give them notice. Hi, I'm going to sue you, right? Hi, I'm going to make a claim against your bonds. Hi, my name is, this is my standing, right? And I'm making claims against you. Okay, so that's first step. That's just notice. That's all you're doing, right? So, and then in step number one, you're going to make some statements with regard as to why you're giving them notice and why you would be so audacious as to claim their bonds. Because basically they have bonds, they have a license and they have a bond, and they have an surety company that insures that in case they fuck up because the governor, he has a license. He also has an oath of office, and he's supposed to uphold the Constitution of the state of Hawaii and the Constitution for both the other corporations. Okay. So if he violates those constitutions, then you need to be able to sit down and say, okay, well, this is how you violated. This is why I say you violated. And then you have to allege. So I allege that he's violating the First Amendment. I allege contempt of Constitution is what I allege. I allege. Okay, so anyway, you put all that stuff down there. And then you say, look, if you think these allegations are false, please rebut them. If you think that, all right, okay, so anyway, and then you need to make some statements about yourself and about others that are true. And understand that there is a 3-period thing going on here. 3, the law of 3. 3, 6, 9, that's the other guys. 13, that's the good guys. But if it's 3, 6, or 9, and you'll notice the account numbers are 9 digits and so forth, you know who you're dealing with. It's always 9. It's always 9s. But anyway, so step one is you give them notice, right? And now they have, and then you put statements and allegations in here. Okay, then you give them 21 days to rebut, right? If they don't after 21 days, or you can give them 30 days, then you give them a notice of default with opportunity to cure. All right, so notice of default with opportunity to cure means, hey, I sent you this thing, you didn't respond, and silence agrees, and so all statements that I put in here, so put some interesting and important and statements that you can collect on when you go to court, and make sure that your allegations are tight. Don't allege stupid shit, just stuff you can prove. All right, so then you put those things in there, and it's going to season up, as they say. So you give them 21, 30 days, whatever. Okay, so then you come back and you say, hey, you didn't answer. Or you did answer, but you only answered one thing. Like I had one judge one time, I think I had 32 points. She answered number 8, and that was it. I'm like, well, what about the other 32 points? What about the other 31 points? Anyway, so so she only made a judgment or ruled on one and then charged me on the bonds. Fucking. Anyway, the idea being is that you have 30 days to respond. You don't respond. I send you a notice of default with opportunity to cure. Now, in that notice of default with opportunity to cure, you have 10 days to cure. All right. So, and you can do this all at once. You just send them all off at once. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Well, not all of it at once. So 30 days, 10 days. And then the last one, which is the actual notice of default, which is what you're going to take into court and which is what you're going to present to the insurance company when you make your claim, where you say, hey, look, I gave them 3 chances, as it were. And then on this one, this is your notice of default. It takes effect if you do not answer in 5 days, right? If they didn't answer after 30 days and they didn't answer after 10 days, they're probably not going to answer. All right, so what have you got here? You got 30, 10, and 5. That's 45 days. What number is that? 9. All right, so, right? Okay, and again, I get in trouble for this. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anymore. God damn it. These people are out of control. And you see what they can do, right? If you would have told me, I saw this old picture of me back in like the 1990s. If you would have told 1990 me that I would be being told by some person that I had to shelter in place and that I couldn't go to the beach and that I couldn't take my boy to his friends' houses to go play, I would have told you you're out of your fucking mind. But that's exactly what we have today. If you would have told me that I had to put a mask on to go fucking buy a steak or a jar of honey, what else did I run? I've got all this stuff now, but I mean, or a bar of soap for fuck's sake. I would have told you you're out of your fucking minds. But that's exactly what we have going on today. Exactly. Why? Because we all went to sleep at the wheel, and because none of us understand a fucking thing about administrative procedure, our standing under the law, our ability as men to enforce the Constitution, right? And you don't need a gun, damn it. What you need is a pen and some knowledge, and you need to know what the fucking words mean. Again, most of you don't know what the words mean. You think they mean one thing, but it turns out not. Webster told you this. He fucking bastardized the language. He gave you the last meaning first, right? If you go look in, and I have multiple law dictionaries showing up because I'm a weirdo. Ask anybody. When I was a child, I used to enjoy reading the dictionary. And when I got bored in the wintertime in Idaho, I sit in front of the fire and just I had a anyway, we'll skip the names. But anyway, I had a friend that worked for the NSA, and he had a great reading room, and he had great dictionaries, and I would just go through the dictionary and read the dictionary. And then now it's really fun because look at Black's Law, and then look at Johnston's, and then look at Bouvier's, and then and then compare the definitions of the exact same word, and it can be different. And then other times it's exactly the fucking same, right? And then compare that to Webster's, and anyway. All right, so the idea being is that, look, you got to hit them with 3. And then now that you've got this, you've got an unrebutted affidavit, you've got prudent man rule, you gave them every fucking opportunity to respond to you, right? You gave them every opportunity to rebut your claims, and they didn't. So now you go to the insurance company. Now you go into a federal court and you say, look, these fuckers violated my civil rights. Hey, they're not my civil rights, my constitutional rights, my inalienable rights. Look, here's what it says in the law when they do that, and it's like $25 million per occurrence, depending on what it is, or sometimes, more, depending. Here's where it is in Title 18. Here it is in Title 42. Here it is in Title, right? And then here it is in the CFR. And what are you guys going to do about it? So then you got to understand, now, like I said, this is why you don't, it takes a little work. So now, once you get to this point, now you can take that, and now you're going to, like I said, now you're going to perfect it, is the word, where you get a judge to say, oh, yep, this thing's solid. Yep, and I agree with the rent, and blah, blah. Now you perfected the thing. Now for sure when you go to the insurance company. Now for sure, right? Now, here's the thing. Well, once you get into a court of law, these guys can still come back over here and beef you, right? But they're gonna have a very difficult time doing anything when you gave them 45 fucking days to respond to you, right? So usually what they're gonna do is somewhere in here they'll respond, right? But understand, silence agrees. This is why the IRS, fuck your power company, any of these people, they send you letters, and then what do? You don't respond, so you dishonor them. So if you dishonor, you agree, right? This is, again, Christian law in this country, all right? So there are only 5 ways to respond to a presentment. Okay, you can respond with silence. That agrees, right? You can pay it. And like I said, you get a bill for $20. You can say, all right, I'm paying it. And you just pay it. They're done, right? Okay, and then you want a receipt that you paid it so that there can be no argument. And see, that's the thing. You can say, it's not me. It's a different guy. Yeah, I'm the 100th monkey, but there's a bunch of 100 monkeys on the internet, and you got the wrong 100 monkey. 1, 2, 3. Conditional, which is the best way to respond usually, where it's I'll pay the $20, but in order for you to for me to pay you the $20, you have to, I don't know, like say it's an auto thing. You said you were going to fix my transmission, and it's still sticking in first gear. If you fit it, well, okay, not for $20, but you know what I mean? Or like say it's yard work or something like that. It's like, you were supposed to mow the lawn, and you didn't mow the front lawn. So I'll give you the $20 when you finish mowing the lawn. You mowed the back lawn, but the agreement was that you mow the whole lawn. Okay. So that's conditional, right? So what do we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and what was the fifth one? I don't remember. Isn't me. Or no, wait, pay it. Wrong guy. Conditional acceptance. Oh, you can always silence. And then the other one is you can always, which is the one you never want to do, is no, right? I mean, just like, well, actually, that's not true. But you want to forgive your trespasses, right? Our Father who art in heaven, you know that one, he taught you how to do it. But you always want to agree with your adversary, right? Don't disagree. If you're going to court saying no, if you're going to court and you got documents and like, no, I'm not going to pay it, right? Oh yeah, it's me, but I'm not paying it. Well, fuck, now you're being adversarial, now you're being belligerent, now you're in trouble, right? And now you also are, what's the word I want? Now you are also acquiescing to their authority because you need them to adjudicate for you because you're saying no, right? So, right, conditionally accept, either pay it, don't get yourself in a position like that, right? But see, sometimes, and I've had it done, and I'm sure you've had it done, people send you a bill that's bogus. Well, so you don't want to say, no, I'm not paying that. That's a bogus bill. What you want to say is, I'll pay that if, right? I'll pay that if you prove it, right? I'll pay that if I actually owed it. I'll pay that if we have a contract. I'll pay that if, but you don't just say no, right? Okay. I'm about done. Like I can rant for days. This thing is, right? Radiation didn't get me out of this state. Right? Women didn't get me out of this state. Guys that wanted to shoot me didn't get out of this state. You know what got me out of this state? Stupid got me out of this state, right? It's not long before I don't live in Hawaii anymore. I fucking can't stand it. I mean, and they're smug about it. Worse than that, they're abused, ignorant. Do they know how many kids in this state were aborted last year? Nope. Right? Do they know to the second how many people have died of COVID-19? God damn it, I did it again. Of the Rona. Anyway, no clue, right? How many people died of an abortion? How many kids are missing in the state? There are like 60 children missing on the website of the Attorney General. Is that 60 of them? We don't have 60 people in this whole state dead of the Rona yet. I think we're up to like 16 or 18 last I checked. And of that, they padded the numbers. But there were 60 kids that were missing in the state of Hawaii. 60 children gone. Where'd they go? Don't know. Lost track of them. They're gone. That didn't cause an uproar, right? But 16 people dying in a state of 1.446 million, I think is what my state is, right? I mean, like most cities are more than my whole state. But I mean, we had 16 people die, right? I don't think we've even hit 1,000 cases in the whole state, and the state is shut down because of the Rona. You're going to tell me that you think it's because of the Rona. You don't think it's because the Democrats had a plan to get rid of the Donald, the orange man that was bad, that has made it very, very clear to them that they're not getting away with the trafficking, right? And guess what? Oh, do I want to tell you this? I'm going to tell you this. We're deep. We're deep in the video. All right. The movie is Braveheart. William Wallace. Okay. In that movie, they made it really prima nocta. Because you got to understand, there is a ruling class. I know you don't want to believe there's a ruling class because we're Americans and we beat the British. And all right, fine. Whatever you fucking want to believe is what you can believe. But anyway, prima nocta. That goes way, way back in time. But basically, if you've watched the movie, you know that basically meant that the ruling overlord, the liege lord of the land of the area, was allowed to sleep with any woman in his on the night of their marriage, so that he could sleep with them first before the husband got to sleep with them, right? Or before the man, and even then, look up husband. Really, are you a husband? But anyway, what is husbandry? But anyhow, the idea you're a man, and that's your woman, and you are that woman's man, right? Anyway, it's not about ownership, and it's not about husbandry. But anyway, the idea is it's a marriage, it's a wedding, it's a union of two things that become one thing. But anyway, so they talked about prima nocta in that movie. But there is this other thing that was kind of unsaid, but it's a... Okay. you can't use Google because Google won't show you what it means. You'll need to get some old archaic books. But basically what that means is if I have a certain status, that ruling status, that upper status, and I'm sure I can say it out loud because I'm pretty confident that they won't even pick that one up. But anyway, it's deodand. As long as I don't kill you, right? Because now there's some issue. But as long as I don't kill you, I can beat you and in some cultures I could kill you. But I could rape you. I could rape your child. I could burn your house down. I mean, you're a fucking peasant, right? I can do the fuck I want to you, is basically what it boils down to if you're in that upper, like I said, the top of the pyramid, that few thousand that's trying to make sure that the population doesn't get out of control. They have deodand. Clinton, various, Kissinger, name it, Soros, Rothschilds, name them, all of them. They claim deodand, right? So they rape these children, they traffic their blood, right? They traffic their organs and blood and so forth. In Africa, in Libya, they're doing slavery. All right, okay. You just pay. It's fine. You gotta pay a fine. In the old days, they might take your sword or your war horse, or they might a Fineland. They might take a piece of property and give it to the person or the family to make up for it, something like that. But your body is not to be used as surety. Simple as that. So the physical person, the living man, is not to be used as surety against any bond. They do it all the time because they consider you dead, and so on, and you don't ever complain. So fuck, they get away with it. But if you are in the upper class, and see why they're going to pull me out of here pretty quick. But anyway, if you are in the upper class and you cause harm to another, all you guys to do is pay a fine. And if you've already got all the money because you fucking print the money, the fines are no issue, are they? You've got a fucking mega yacht. You own a castle. You got a private jet. Your car costs $2 million. You've got butlers and servants and so on. Paying $100,000 for raping a child is no big deal, right? Or even it's $1 million, right? If you've got billions of them, right? For me to pay $1 million for that's going to be difficult. But for some of these guys, no big deal. They can do it all day long, every day, and they do. Right? They pay for those sacrifices. And that's the way they look at it. We pay for it fair and square. Fuck you. Right? Because deodand. Right? Go look it up. Go fucking do your research. Right? They don't give a fuck about us. I've told you this 100 times. Anybody that's watching me is sick of hearing me say that, but they don't give a fuck about us. Right? Now, this is also why they don't want you getting your paperwork in order, because they don't want you having this ability. Right? This is why I say you need to be a strong moral character, because there are evil men that will take the advantage of this and go out and rape and pillage, and then figure out that all they have to do is pay fines. Right? They don't have to They don't have to serve jail times. They just have to pay the bonds, and it's over. Okay, that's why. Guess what? On the other hand, treason. There's a death penalty for treason, so we can't get them. Because deodand is still the thing. It's still the law of the land. It's still recognized around the world among all the secret societies, among all those brotherhoods. Deodand is a thing, right? You may have not have known, but just because you didn't know it was a thing, fuck you. It doesn't matter if you didn't knew or not, right? That's the law. You didn't know you were dead either, and you still will have a hard time wrapping your mind around that. But again, why would you have to change your status from decedent to non-decedent if that wasn't the case? And why would that be it's in more than a few movies, but the Pirates of the Caribbean is the one you want to watch. And then, like I said, I'll try to put links down here. It's going to be a while before I get around to the links, because I'm going to have to find these things and it's hard. But you don't want to use their forms. You want to make up your own forms. But you need to make up forms that you made up yourself that mirror what those forms are made to do. You need to understand contract law. So get yourself contract law for dummies. This is Patrick Vine 101. Get yourself contract law for dummies and start figuring out that it's all about commerce. It's all about commerce. And then figure out trust law, right? Because that's the thing they do. They set up trust for you, whether you want them or not. They're there, right? So then you need to understand how to collapse your underwritings and how to collapse those trusts and so forth. But before you do that, you might want to claim some bonds. You might want to claim some paid up insurances, and you might want to claim whatever you fucking can claim that they've written for you and move it into your treasury. You don't want to put it in your account. You want to give it to the treasury, and then you want to open up an account so you can access that treasury. All right, there's stories in the Bible that tell you about how to do this, right? The woman that it didn't matter. Everybody was giving money, and the woman that gave the least, and the woman that gave and the people that gave the most, they all got the same as long as they were giving everything they had. right? And they were being admonished not to judge that woman because she gave everything she had, right? I mean, and all she had was nothing. But I mean, so, all right. So some of us have more shit out there and some of us have less stuff. Like I have no mortgages, right? I've always been transient upon the land as best to my best ability because I would not buy property because I know there's no such thing as a legal title in this fucking socialist nation that pretends that it's free. So why would I pay a huge amount of money? Because I didn't understand endorsements. Like I said, just as fucking ignorant as you guys. Now I'm starting to understand endorsements. Oh, well, you shouldn't have given a blank check. You should have endorsed that fucking mortgage and then paid off the lender, and then you would own your house free and clear because there isn't any fucking money. Right? There's no money. Like it takes a long time to wrap your head around that concept, but there isn't any money. Right? You think that this is evidence of debt. That's not money. It's not. Anyway, and see, and then you take your not money and you pay the fine, and then, who cares, right? Shoot that guy in the back while he's running away. Right? Dividend. All right. So anyway, where was I going? Before I interrupted my own self with my ridiculousness. The idea being is that once you start understanding how the status and how the various deceptions that we've been given over and over again, we've been fed it constantly. So it's like we can't even believe when we or stumble across the truth and see these rabbit holes. They're not rabbit holes. This is the fucking principles and way that the others have been living this whole time, right? It's us slaves that have been ignorant of it the whole time. So now there's this awakening happening. Right? People are starting to figure out, oh, wait a minute, right? Hold the phone. and it turns out, yeah, there is such a thing as a straw man. And yeah, there is that, right? But anyway, the idea is that when you sue, the first thing you want to do in all of this, before you collapse all those underwritings and get rid of all that, like people that want to get rid of their Social Security now. No, you don't. Right? What you wanted, and if you do, then you better fucking make sure that you take all the money out that you paid in and move it over to the Treasury, and then make sure you get an EIN, right? So that you can access that money. But don't just fucking give up the money, because then they'll claim it under salvage, and then you don't get any of it. It's all your fucking labor that you put into that, right? Those weren't patriots, right? Those were agent provocateurs that told you to give up all this stuff. No. Right? There's bonds out there with your name on them. You need to claim them, and if you don't know what they are, then you can't claim them. There's insurance, paid up insurance out there with your name on it. You can't claim it. You can't have it because you don't know it exists. Marriage licenses, mortgages. Like I said, you got to understand these contracts. You need to understand these trusts, and you need to understand how to claim that fucking money and put it, and not into your Social Security account, not on the fucking private, on that public side, right? You need to move it to the de jure. You need to move it to the private side, and then you need to put it in Legis out in front of you, Alicia Keys, right? Dick Van Dyke. Oh God, I can't think of any names. But anyway, those are in Legis, right? So Walter Cronkite. The idea is that this is not supposed to show up in court. This is not supposed to show this physical vessel. This living person is not supposed to be out there. You show up in paper. You appear on paper, right? It's magic. It's an appearance. So like I said, you got to know what the words mean. You got to know what the documents are. You got to know how to file the documents. You got to understand that they have forms, and there are definite forms that you might want to fill out, or you might want to give other people power of attorney to fill out forms for you so that you can get this stuff transferred. But the thing you want to do before you do any of that is make sure you secure your freedom and your status. And the way to do that is to make sure that various people in the government acknowledge the fact that you're a living man or a woman, right? Not a person. And they want you to say person. You're not a person. You are you can be a person. Certainly, that corporate entity, that straw man, is a person. But so is, turns out the judiciary for the state of Hawaii is a person. Turns out the state of Hawaii is a person. Turns out Microsoft is a person. Turns out Chevron is a person. And Royal Dutch Shell is also a person. You don't want to be that kind of person. But see, those persons can't do anything without the living man, right? That person cannot endorse a document. That person can't kill anybody. That person can't own property. That person can't do anything. Dead persons definitely don't own anything. you must be in the land of the living. So you need to move yourself into the land of the living. And there's ways to do this. And it starts with a pen, not a gun, not a sword, a pen. Okay. I hate this. I hate this more than you can imagine. I hate this. I hate this so much. I don't have English words to express how much I hate this. Anyway, take it easy, Crime Stoppers. That's my little dose. I haven't been out here for a while because I can't, right? Still can't make playlists, but I can at least go live once in a while. And you'll see me on BitChute more than over here. I'm tired of hearing people whine about YouTube because they've made it clear. We're going to get it back. And what you need to do, or what we need to do, is petition the government, the corporation government, the United States, or the United States of America, one of the two, and turn these into public utilities. Simple as that. They can't be private corporations. They cannot be platforms that are owned by private corporations, because then the private corporation can claim that they can say whatever the fuck they want or do whatever the fuck they want on their platform. And they don't have to obey the Constitution, just like many of these governors and mayors are doing. Sorry. The private corporation can actually make an argument and maybe get away with that for a little bit. So then we just have to revoke their charters and make it so that they don't exist anymore. It just gets taken over. And that's for we the people, not the government. It's not fascism taking over. That's the people taking back their right to free speech and to use technology. Right? You have the right to travel, to convey yourself in the conveyance of the day. That doesn't just mean a horse. The conveyance of the day now is what we call a motor vehicle, a car or a motorcycle. So you have the right to travel in that thing. You have the right to speak freely using the press. This is basically the press. People like, Pauly, amazing Pauly, Jordan Slather. Shoot, now I can't remember the guy's name. They freaking, when he started coming after them for Pedogate, they freaking just totally demonetized. I mean, they tried to make it like the guy didn't exist. And suddenly I can't remember his name. But anyway, but all these different people, those are Westall, they see names aren't coming. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. All the various people that have decided to pick up Greg Hunter. He's a little more on the mainstream side, but still he's alternative. But there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people now that they're the media, right? There are some that stick out more than others. But there are many, 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 many people that are the people that you should be going to, that can put the links in the thing, can freaking go through the data, that don't have necessarily an agenda other than like to set you free. Like I used to make jokes about how the fact that I would go hang out with Austin Peterson and wow, what the heck? I'm having like memory lapse. I can say John McAfee and there's another libertarian that you'd know his name. But anyway, we used to hang out. And like I said, a fight like cats and dogs over all manner of things. But at the end of the day, we're friends. But we used to say, yeah, what were we doing? We're conspiring to figure out how to leave you the fuck alone. That's what we were conspiring to do. We were trying to figure out how to make it so that you guys would step up. And the consensus is you guys will never step up. Very few, maybe a few of the people here that are watching. But overall, your countrymen won't step up. They want to be employees. They want to be told what to do. They want to have a pension. They don't want to have their own business. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They want to go work for somebody else and have that kind of security. That's the average person. All right. That person needs governance for sure. But if you're one of those people that you want to be left the fuck alone and you want to govern yourself and so forth, well, then if you want to do all of these things, you need to educate yourself. You need to educate others. And you need to, like I said, learn what the words mean, figure out who's what, where you are, what your name is, and so on. And, you don't have to. You don't have to. And also, it can take you a year or two to figure this out. It can take you a few months. You get fanatical about it. I know people that quit their fucking jobs and that's all they did for 90 days is just study morning, noon, and night and fill out their paperwork and make sure everything went where it's supposed to go. And then they found out they were doing some stuff wrong. And anyway, my advice to you is before you leap, look. So make sure that what you're doing, here. All right, you want to go to jail? Write a bond. And that's it. You can write a promissory note, but you can't write bonds. You want to go to jail? Sue somebody, put a lien on somebody without judgment, especially like a judge or a politician or something like that. Put a lien on them before you get a judgment. Guarantee you're going to jail, right? But if you get the judgment, right, You can, like I said, you can perfect your claim. I just showed you. That's a method. That's not the method. That's a method. That's a method I've used successfully in the past with the IRS and various people. It's just three, right? That's just administrative procedure, right? Give them an affidavit, give them a notice of default with an opportunity to cure, and then give them an affidavit of default, and then go get a certified, a verified affidavit of default, and you're verified by you and by a notary, and then you got that notary note. Oh, that's one step I forgot to put in here, and a lot of people left. Well, all right. So when you do those affidavits, it needs to be notarized. Then you have to go down to your courthouse or someplace else, and you have to get another notary that certifies that that notary is a real notary in good standing in your state. And then you should probably use a thumbprint and stamps and so on. But you can't just use one notary, as it turns out. The notary has to be notarized. It's fucking crazy, like I said. But anyway, but you saw how much work that's going to be. You got to do all of that. That takes 45 days, and then you got to go into court, and none of this shit's free, right? You got to understand the filing fees and stuff like that. You don't just walk into court and say, "Hey, hear my case." They're like, "Okay, give us money," right? So the idea is that and then you need to know about procedure, and I'm weak on procedure, but you need to know about procedure. I'm getting much stronger though, guarantee it. I know how to put evidence in the courts though, and that won't be denied and so on. I'm getting my procedures down. They don't like seeing me coming anymore, right? I guarantee you that if they ain't happy when they see the one guy anyway, it was funny because he just broke into nervous laughter when he saw me because they had a plan and they realized that this plan wasn't going to work on this guy. And anyway, things went swimmingly for me that day because I know my shit, right? I mean, I'm getting to the point where I know my shit. But you got to know your shit too. You got to know what forms to ask for. You got to know, you got to understand their status, and you got to understand their oaths, and you got to understand. I mean, like I said, if you want to be ignorant and free, you can't be. You just can't. Right? They will fucking eat your lunch, and they are deceptive, lying fucks. Simple as that. That wasn't the word I was going to use. The word I was going to use started with a C, but we'll. I'm sure there's females watching, so they hate that word no matter what. But I mean, they are. They're just they don't play fair. Like ask Larkin Rose. Larkin Rose thought they were going to play. I know so many guys that were just the most Pollyannish, and I mean these are hard men, but they were just like they thought the other guys would play fair because see they have a thing, dirty duty, honor, and justice and so forth. They believe in that shit. A lot of these guys are military men and so forth, and so they figured that that honor. These guys have no honor. None, not any. Zero, less than that. They are deceivers. They are liars. They are thieves. They are bastards. They are rapers of children. They are traffickers of humans. They are traffickers of flesh. They are worshippers of Lucifer, for fuck's sake. What kind of, the symbols that they give you for justice, right? Blind justice. How is fucking justice blind, right? Scales in the wrong hand, sword in the wrong position. I mean, just fuck. They're not there. They're not your friends. That they have no duty. They have no honor. They have no. They're evil, and they just expect if you walk in there expecting them to be good and they're evil, like the scorpion stings you. It's not the scorpion's fault. And I told my sons this numerous times growing up here in Hawaii. We have many insects. If the stinging insect stings them, it's not the insect's fault because stinging insects sting. Lying liars lie. So you have to be prepared for that when you walk into the court of laws, right? And you walk into these courts. But I guarantee you, there is a large group of people now that will be happy to assist you in taking down the Democrats. So if you're in a Democrat state, one of the 24 states is still closed, and you've got governors issuing edicts that are unconstitutional, and it should be fairly easy for you to show and prove. But see, now you're going to have a procedure, right? And like I said, ask for help. Go get help. Right? There are many inspector generals. There are many attorneys. There are many federal judges. There are many, 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 many people that will help you now, right? Because there's a war going on, and they'll help you, right? Because that's what they've done. They've exposed these people, and we're supposed to do it peaceably. Not pick up your fucking guns and go down to the Capitol. I mean, I feel the same way. Believe me. Make no mistake. I absolutely agree. But at the same time, no, that's not going to be the effective way to do it. The effective way to do it is pick up your sword. Excuse me, pick up your pen, which is mightier than the sword, and fill out your paperwork. Learn about indictments and warrants and how to fill that out and who to give them to, and go to fucking town, because we got these guys dead to rights. We got them dead to rights. They've given us a gift, right? I mean, they've violated the Constitution left and right with impunity and are basically fucking daring us to do anything about it. All right, I'll take the dare. Okay, Crime Stoppers, I've gone on way too long. 2 hours, hour and 50. Actually, I've had videos longer than this. But anyway, get out there, guys. Get after it. I'm serious. They have given us gifts. If you can't do it, support somebody that is, right? Or join on to somebody else. Like, you know, if you guys can do, shoot, what do they call them? Lawsuits that have many parties. And really, like I said, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm stressed, obviously, because I'm in front of the camera. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out. Class action lawsuit. There you go. A class of people, right? Free people suing these fuckers for violating constitutional rights. Contempt of Constitution should be your primary claim, but also violation of oath of office. I mean, fuck, it's a cavalcade, depending on where you are, right? So selective, telling what businesses can open and what can't. Telling you where you can walk on the ground, telling you that you can't get together on Easter fucking Sunday and worship the Christ Jesus, telling whatever the fuck it is. You know, put it in a document, learn how to fill out the affidavit, go perfect the affidavit, and take these guys down. All right, I'm out. Take it easy, Crime Stoppers. E pluribus unum. Thanks for your support. Thanks for sharing videos. Thanks for all the comments here, which I'm going to read after I get done here. And I will talk to you guys soon. There is my Rona rant.